Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I decided to make a video today because ultimately I decided to shave. And since I was really happy with the close shave and how well it turned out without nicking and cutting myself, I said, why not make a video? And the video, what it's about is showing you my solo play first two um, first two play tests of that scenario, which ultimately I am calling now Bridgehead and Nancy. Maybe I'll come up with another one. Perhaps you can suggest a name. Um, so just to recap quickly, I did find a battle that fit the result of the classic squad leader scenario generator. Let me put my thinking cap on. Uh, Always like the underdogs. So I decided to make a scenario out of it. I'll show you the scenario card as it looks like uh, at the moment. And I'll show you the log for the second playtest. And then I'll reveal a little secret for you. So let's go further along. As you can imagine, I have a 9-2 leader here that was on the verge of spearheading the attack on the American position, but then broke and retreated. And moving right along, I want to show you a bigger picture because uh, it basically gives you a big overview of what is going on. So it's a four-turn scenario, and of course, under DM, nobody can rally, or very few people have rallied. And then my half track, my armed half track, got blown to pieces, but the Stug managed to reach the tree line with a passenger squad. Of course, uh, the leader up here with the 50 cal and accompanied by American armor, a 105 M4, wasn't that effective, but effective enough to negate the importance of the infantry attack. So here we go. A couple of really high rolls. I'm not sure what's going on with Vassal lately with respect to all URL links. It appears to have broken all the links. There was a Java update recently, so I'm not sure what's going on with there. So, but you can see the dice rolls here, um, and we're firing back, retreating, routing into close cover. This is a good example of route forward. Finally, the 9-2 leader rallies. He has an elite squad there. Doesn't appear to have rallied, but the 467 did. And now, what was happening when I was playing this scenario, unfortunately, was I forgot I had a 7-0 leader here with a radio. Um, Maybe I should turn this into a field phone just for added certainty, but I'm afraid that would give too much of an advantage to the German player. We did manage to score an immobilization, but not an outright kill with the Stug against the M4. Has a big armor, and his size makes him an easily hit target, but not easily destroyed. Kind of reminds you of the early war KV1s and KV2s. They have an immense armor. It's hard to imagine how the Germans managed to get past them at all. Now, the 50 cal appears to be very OP. Uh, he is basically just attacking the Germans' advanced left, right, and center. Did I deploy? Uh, Maybe not as much as I could or should have. And as you can see right now, at this point in this juncture, it's turn number 2, and the Germans recovered from their initial setback. Now, with a little bit of luck, it could have gone in the Germans' favor, but even from the very first turn, but I guess it would have been very unlikely. Always having issues with the Vassal um, vassal counters. At this point, it almost appeared as if one of my multi-man squads disappeared. I don't know if they're having display issues here or not. Yeah, here goes the 50 cal already, and just knocking away the Germans uh, and getting rate and as my friend that used to say in high school, chop mo chop chop mo chop. 50 cals up in high ground. It's not an easy target to persevere, but look, some squads did manage to make it, right? Now the other problem is if you have American squads with 6 firepower factors, and they're all concealed in uh, in terrain that affords cover. Approaching them and taking them out in close combat are not a good idea. So if you have a 6 firepower squad versus a 4 in close combat, you have 3-2 odds. And if you go into that squad for close combat while it's concealed, the chances are you'll get ambushed, and then the 3-2 attack even becomes even more in the favor of the defender being the American and the German. So moving along, uh, the Germans are advancing, but these guys are going concerned. These guys being the 50 cal with a 666 squad and the 105, despite it being um, despite it being immobilized, it's quite it packs quite a punch. Another excuse to have coffee, making a video, of course. Yeah, I have the lights out because I want to keep the house cool. We're having a bit of a heat wave here. 70 degrees, middle of October, Fahrenheit. And what did I do with the Stug? Well, the Stug is an assault gun, and it's quite effective against infantry at close range. I bugged it. Big deal. Did I try to unbug it? No. Its target are one, two, three. That's what they're. I'm not trying to go up against this guy. Uh, I bogged them here. Mind you, if you do mouth the main gun, and you're subject to recall the moment this guy, for any reason, becomes immobilized and doesn't pass the immobilization task check, he cannot re-enter the assault gun. So that's the only drawback. But in the meantime, he's focused on eliminating these 3 stacks, or at least revealing them. But the bazooka is a going concern. However, the bazooka also breaks down at 11 and only has one shot per turn. And you can't get rate on a bazooka. All right. Let's see ultimately what transpires. I'm revealing the to hit table. Of course, we have to advance because we got to get them out of cover. As the Americans were laying down residuals, trying to do a fire group. We broke one American squad. The 9-2 leader gets a quick shot. No, actually, the 9-1 leader got a 2 flat shot and scored a good morale check on these guys, and they started breaking again. Uh, I can't say that this game is not completely unbalanced, because the Germans did manage to advance despite overwhelming firepower from the Americans. That being um, the M4 and the 50 cal. and they are managing to rout certain American units. And the worst thing about it is the 9-2 leader just going bonkers to the point that they're eliminated. Yeah, the 50 cal is a powerhouse. He gets trapped in their line of fire. The guy scores right. You're pretty much doomed. Despite that, quite a few Germans advanced. I had to press the attack because it's only a 4-turn scenario. So as you can see, once the Germans approached the Americans, the overwhelming American firepower was enough to throw the Germans back in disarray. Plus, the 50 cal up on the hill did uh, grind the thrust of the German attack uh, into mincemeat. That's what it is. Absolutely amazing that this thing doesn't have the pictures anymore. I'll bet you further to um, the Java the Java update. A lot of things broke in Vassal and things have to be redone. All right, so I'm going to show you the second playtest now. So I jumped a couple of turns ahead, but let me tell you what I did here. So I thought the 50 cal gave an overwhelming advantage to the Americans. So I changed the 50 cal to a medium machine gun. And I finally found the priest, the M7 or 4 priest. I forget its designation, but I finally found the actual counter for the proper armored fighting vehicle that I wanted. That was relatively as close as possible to what the scenario generator at the classic level offered. Uh, Hold on a sec. So this is the baby I was looking for. It's an M7, not an M4 like I initially said. Rubber tracks, appears to be rubber, finely engineered. It's a 105 howitzer mounted on a good old chassis. Look how many armed forces it served after the Second World War. All right, so that's how it's represented in Advanced Squad Leader, right here. Okay, and since the 50 cal was really OP, I replaced it with a medium machine gun. The initial turn went better than like the previous time. I didn't forget about my battalion mortar here. Um, both uh, the German armored fighting vehicles advanced, um, and once a couple of shots were spent by the American player, at least and the very least, the Germans were able to advance at least to the tree line, not without any casualties. They did break a couple of, there was a couple of units broken, right? And at least they'll make it to their objective um, with minimal casualties. So the balance is a little bit better than before. Let's see how this advance uh, comes about, and then I'll tell you about what conclusions I reached. Wow. So here we are. We're drawing line of sights, and it's American player turn number one. Um, the M7 gets knocked out right off the bat. We call down battalion mortar, but the spotting round is not accurate. What's so hard about rolling a 1 or a 2 on a 1d6? And it goes right off the board. Well, not right off the board. It would have been off board because I'm thinking of cropping the boards to this length here. Sniper check. Up at the sniper roll. Wounded. Son of a gun. and survived the wound check. Now, there's more opportunity for the German player to mount some sort of cohesive attack. Of course, even now with the MMG on the high ground with the 9-1 leader, um, it did cause damage. Uh, However, uh, the damage caused was a bit to the effect of a berserk unit being created. And again, we're kind of trying to go along the same lines as before. Uh, Here, I thought that Vassal kind of played a couple tricks on me with the support weapons and the units that I was moving, rearranging their order. I'm not sure. Some sort of gremlins. Ooh, look at that! Snake eyes. Boom. Sniper check and all that. Snake eyes. That unit was eliminated. Came into the open. We wanted to press the attack. Took a 6 down 2 attack. Boom. Obliterated everything. So now the Germans have it a little bit more easy in their advance. Again, though, it being a 4 turn scenario, it's quite limited. And here is where uh, they've made it after the 2nd turn. So now we have a firefight going on. So this is as far as my log goes. I'm not sure why um, I don't seem to have any other vlog. However, I can sum up everything that had occurred and what I decided to do after that. So once the uh, Germans um, got into the tree line and tried to evict the Americans from the victory objectives, what transpired was some effective fire where a lot of the German units broke and there was not enough time to take the objectives for the Germans. So other than changing the HMG to an MMG, what I have done is basically increase the scenario length to 6 turns as opposed to 4. Um, and then for the Americans, as I said before, I changed the MMG to 1 as opposed to um, more than that. I didn't play with concealment counters, but I should have. 8 concealment counters. That would give 2, 4, 6, 4 dummy units. And then in terms of special rules, as you can see, the thing goes a little bit lower. If I change the font size to a little bit less, 10, we'll make it into a one pager. Yeah, turns it into. In terms of special rules, Germans have 80 millimeter HE smoke battalion mortar with scarce ammunition. U.S. units rally with a good order leader with a negative modifier are not subject to DM. That's to model the fact that, according to the narrative that I read in Wikipedia, there was a battalion commander that rallied ad hoc units, American units, and staved off uh, the German counterattack. Um, the German player does not have Panzerfausts. The US player secretly notes which units are armed with Bazooka 44s and reveals them only upon their use. So that's the special rules that I thought that would make things better. I'm having a couple of challenges as to how I can manifest the board configuration here, but I'll figure it out. Maybe what I need to do is put a table within a table. Uh, in terms of balance, oops, balance. Let's make that bold. In terms of balance, allied balance, add an 8-1 leader to the OB. Axis balance at 1,548 squad. That remains to be seen and confirmed. And the other thing that I did was, and I can't show it to you because basically with the computer setup that I have now, I don't have sufficient memory to run um, second front with my OBS video recorder. It'll produce a video that is choppy, but I did reproduce the scenario in second front, and I put the Americans as the defenders. Um, yeah, I put the Americans as the defenders, the Germans as the attackers, the live player being the Germans. And basically, I executed the scenario. Unfortunately, I didn't know how to change the um, victory conditions to, um, or rather, edit the scenario to limit it to 6 turns as opposed to 9, um, which it ran for 9. And then what had happened was that the Germans did reach their victory objectives, but there were sufficient uh, American forces left behind to mount a counterattack. And in terms of the AFVs, the M7 did take out the half track. The Stug took out the M7 and the units up on this third level hill. And it eventually took over the position on the third level hill, preventing routes. Not really. It didn't prevent routes, but it made the American position very precarious, and ultimately the Americans won, but not with a wide margin. So with that said, guys, that's my video for today. Uh, I hope to have a video next week, but I can't guarantee it. With that said, George, over and out.